I'm still deeply impressed by the charts I saw, and for me it was a bit like Kairos in that very moment, because I forgot a bit how time is passing on. When Florian Sörlich asked me to prepare a short keynote and bringing together time, perception of time, and customer experience management, I thought, wow, that might be difficult. The more you think, the more ideas you get how time is related to the daily business of companies, which is now a keynote which refers to more down-to-earth approach to time. I'm this guy, and I have 15 minutes to tell a story about customers, about time, how customers experience time, and what that has to do with the daily work of companies. I'm Peter Pirner. I'm a CX advisor, I'm a speaker, and I'm host of CX Talks, which is the most successful German podcast for customer experience management in German language. This is the reason why I speak English now. Time. Who of you has children? And who of you had 3 children in the back row when they want to arrive at Disneyland, for example? So obviously, sometimes the experience sitting in a car takes too long. And sometimes the experience that is related to sitting in the car, being at the fun park, going back home, this experience in the fun park should not end. So time is not long enough, which leads, by the way, to the same facet at the end of the day, on the way back home. Companies need to think about the effect of time on consumers for 2 reasons. If something takes too long or is too short, it has also an emotional component to it, which means customers remember very well that the experience they made was not perfect because it was too short or too long. And sometimes it also drives costs if an experience is too long or it takes too much time to produce that, or it is offered too long to a customer, then typically there are costs related to that. The difficulty of companies is that they need to find the right balance of time components in the offering they have to their customers. But companies typically think like that. Companies produce experience like preparing a bowl of fruit salad. They produce experience typically in their silos, and they, for example, the ones who cut the bananas don't really care about the ones who cut the kiwis, because they are so focused on their specific role and the way how they want to design an experience for customers. Typical silos are sales, marketing, customer service, for example. But they all create the experiences for customers. If we have a look at customers, how they perceive what they get, customers eat. They don't give a shit what you've done here. They just want a fruit salad. And they also are not interested if something is difficult for you to produce, or if you've done a very tiny detail very well. They have an overall perception. They go into a situation where they receive your product or your services with a certain expectations how long it takes, the time component, but also what they receive else. And this is just a mixture of everything you prepared for them in their perception. It's deeply individual. The problem is also to really find out what do customers want. And it sounds very logical that we simply need to find a solution to understand what customers want. The problem is sometimes we make very intelligent hypotheses about what customers want, and they are maybe not that intelligent if you think about what then happens in real life. And I give you a few examples. This is an example, I call it the jam experiment. This was made by the University of New York to find out what delivers more value to customers, having a large variety of things or a slightly reduced variety of things. In this case, it's jam. So they made an experiment in a supermarket, 2 shelves. On one shelf, you had 24 varieties of jam. And on the other shelf, you had 6 varieties of jam. And now there are 2 perspectives on what the outcome was. The first one, what do you think was the more attractive shelf for customers? The second one. Actually, there were more than double the amount of people in front of this shelf, where you have more varieties, but there was almost double the amount sold on jam on the right side. Which means you are attracted by something, very good idea, it's very attractive, but then it takes too much time to decide which one I want. And here is the first example how we integrate time into the product offering of companies. So if you just have 6, it's easier to find out what you want and you select one of those 6. Very nice, this article, and this is the source here, when choice is demotivating. I love that phrase. This is one example. I give you another example. If you said, okay, I'm a company, I will not give you 24 different options at a time. I give you the option to customize what you want to have. We all speak about personalization, about individual solutions, and customization is the holy grail. Actually, you can design what you want. Isn't that a brilliant idea? So you can design your shoes, you can design your t-shirts, we can design our t-shirts over there. You can even design your own muesli. And there is one application that is a killer application in the automotive industry, which is a car configurator. You can design what you want to have in your car. And it's known in the industries for many years that this is one of the most important touch points in the sales process when you buy a new car. Now there is new research how good the acceptance is of these customized solutions made by the University of Vienna. It's a very recent article. And they looked at all these customization processes and made also some experiments with students. And what is typical that people who decide I start a customization process are highly emotional activated. So the possibility to customize something is something great. You give me the possibility that I choose only the one thing I want to have. The problem is, almost 2/3 will never reach the solution because over time, again, I'm not playing with words right now, but really over time, they get frustrated because it's not actually, I can build what I want, but what the hell do I want? And it's not so, again, a similar effect like in the chart before. And overcoming this frustration is can only be seen actually in the car configurator because they are so decide to have, they buy something really expensive and valuable for them. So 70% of the people in this category come to an end. But in most of the other categories, just 30% customize their product. Let's go to brick and mortar. You all been to a supermarket, and I don't know how it's with you, but I have always the feeling I'm in the wrong lane. Somehow I'm in the lane that is the slowest. And I don't know why, but there is always someone in front of me whose credit card doesn't work or who is really slow in putting the things on the, I don't know, how is that called, the thing where you put, you know what I mean. Comes in self-checkout as an option to make this process a bit faster. It's also, by the way, it also saves money for companies because they don't need a cashier there. But the benefit for many customers is really it's faster. And I don't know who experienced already the new self-checkout with IKEA, where you already start to scan the stuff while you put it on your trolley. That is really faster. That is really faster. And there is research where people say, I even prefer self-checkout because it's faster. I don't want this guy who is trying to scan the stuff I put on the thing. I don't know which is called, how it's called in English. The point is, not all customers are the same. And if we just make the ones happy that say, well, it's not fast enough, we forget maybe a very important part of our customers that let a lot of money in the shop because they go there every day. Talking about elder person. And there is one concept which I found really interesting. It's a supermarket in the Netherlands. And they created the concept of conversation caches. So if you have the need to talk a bit and you bring the time, then the whole customer experience buying stuff in this supermarket for these people is nicer because there is a lane where they can talk to the cashier. And they take the time. The good thing, if you think about that, you solve two problems. The ones who want to talk are in one lane, and the other lanes are faster. And for that reason, I think it's a very nice and very creative way of solving a problem, respecting the different needs of different customer groups. The last thing is, we know that customers in general want to have a strong relationship with the brands they buy, a trustful relationship with the companies they deal with. But at the same time, what we also see, churn is going up. The churn rates are, for example, in the telco industry, something between 12 and 30% in 1 year time, which means every year you lose 30% of your customers. The same is true for software as a service products, depending a bit on the product. The absolute winner in this category, if there is gyms. Gyms lose 50% of their customers within 1 year. So you need to win new customers back because you've lost half of your customer base, which takes a lot of money. And the important thing, the important learning from there, if you address the needs of your customer in a better way, then the ROI of these initiatives, of these activities, is much, much higher than developing new customer acquisition strategies. For that reason, you need to know your customers, you need to know all the needs they have and try to build it into your offer in a better way. And I found also recently a study done by KPMG that it's called Customer Experience Excellence Study. They do that for many, many years. And the 3 top factors for having customer loyalty as a company are have personalized interactions, which means give me exactly what I expect from you and give me the feeling that it is made for me. Is integrity. Integrity means that if you use my data, use the data respectfully and respect my data privacy. And the third important factor for loyal customers is an effortless experience. Effortless experience means typically I need less time to complete what I want to have. And if you translate that into what customers would expect from you, I would put it more or less in this. If you create offers for customers, then customers expect that you know who they are, how they perceive also the factor time as a relevant element of what you offer to them. You know what they need in that very moment. In this case, it's Chronos, I guess. Understand when they are at your touch points, how they got there, what happened in the past. Understand how they feel and act accordingly to make the experience they have in that very moment a Kairos moment, which means that you can enjoy this moment because you feel be taken seriously. And the last two elements are, don't make me repeat myself, don't make me lose time, and don't waste my time. Don't make me do things which I don't want to do because there is not any benefit in there. And with that conclusion, I would like to hand over to the Tangity team, and I hope I completed the mission about integrating time into customer experience management. Thank you very much.